Market's going to pieces. Money's not safe anywhere these days. No sooner do you find a steady-looking 7% than poof, down they go to practically nothing.
Do they, dear? What a shame. Things seem to be all topsy-turvy nowadays. I suppose it's the system.
System? There's nothing wrong with the system. Finest constitution in the world. It's the namby-pamby spirit of the modern generation that I don't like. Spineless. Don't like work. Extravagant. Things were different when I was a young man. I had to work. I had to use my initiative and push to get where I am today. Here's a case in the paper. Young married fellow of 28, earning £2.10 a week in a shop, convicted of embezzling his employer's money. I was earning less than 50 shillings a week when I was that age.
50 shillings isn't much for a married man.
I didn't find it necessary to steal in order to live, and here this fellow blames it on the cost of living.
But things were different when you were a young man. As you said a minute ago, dear.
You can't get away from it. Facts are facts.
Yes, my dear. My old man's still out. Been out for months. Can't seem to get nothing. I don't know what the world's coming to. When you want to work, they won't let you. Not that my old man's ever been one for doing more than his share. Still, give him his due. He has been trying hard lately. Yes, got any more tea and copper?
You know, Mrs. Hodge, I'd give anything to get out of there. Day after day, work, work, work for a few bob a week.
Yes, I know, dear. She's not so bad, but it's him.
Lucky if I get half a day on Sundays. Anyway, him upstairs is unlucky to have a job at all. I suppose I am, really.
Here. You think you're lucky Sarge ain't married, my girl. You've got something to be thankful for anyway. 5, are there? Yeah. And the trouble of it you wouldn't believe. My old man more out of work than him.
I think it was the front door.
Oh, sit down, Annie. Sit down and drink a cup of tea in peace. You've been running about all day. Let them go their self. Won't do him no harm anyway. Get some of his fat down.
No, Elizabeth. I'll see who it is. Very annoying. That girl must be deaf. What do we pay her for, I'd like to know?
This is Utopia, please.
Yes?
I address Mr. William Playfair.
I am William Playfair, yes?
Thank you. My name is Smith. Your son, Mr. Derek Playfair, asked me to come here to Utopia to see you.
Oh, why, yes, Mr. Smith, of course, from Africa. My son wrote and told us you'd be here on the next boat. Charmed. Come in, Mr. Smith. Well, and all the way from sunny Africa, eh? By Jove. What?
You are surprised, Mr. Playfair. It is because I'm a colored man. You expect Smith to be a white man.
Well, I must admit, I really thought...
Your son is my great friend. That he should ask me to visit you, his parents, I feel a great honor. I trust I do not intrude. Please tell me if this is so.
Oh, why, no, of course. By all means. Charmed. But you hadn't cooked. You must make my wife.
Thank you.
Annie! Where is the girl? Very annoying. Servants never about when you want them. Annie! Take Mrs. Smith's hat and look sharp about it. And why didn't you answer the door?
Sorry, sir, I didn't hear.
Didn't hear? Bah! Well, don't stand there. Go on. And put your cap straight. Come in and see Mrs. Playfair. We're all alone this evening. Oh, Elizabeth, this is Mr. Smith, my wife.
This is a great honor, madame. Your son is my very good friend.
I think my son must count himself lucky to have you as a friend. And I'm sure we are the people who feel honoured.
Yes, yes, madame.
Oh, Mrs. Odd.
What is it, Doc? Has he been at you again?
Oh, it is the door.
Well, who is it? Is it the broker's man?
No, it's a black man.
Oh? Oh, well, I don't suppose he's none the worse for his colour, whoever he is.
He was ever so nice when he gave me his hat.
Oh, I was only reading in the paper the other day. We was all descended from black men. Ah, well, it don't matter what colour you are, as long as you're decent. Mind you, don't you go getting those funny ideas about black men. You look out, that's all.
I have a message from your son, madame. Also, if you will please allow it, I offer you a small gift.
Oh, how lovely.
It is a symbol of peace and plenty among my people.
Well, that is kind of you. It's beautifully made. Please sit down, Mr. Smith. Sit over there.
I want to return to my country with so much knowledge of your great civilization. At the hotel where I stay, I see so many wonderful things.
Yes, yes, of course. I suppose you haven't exactly got every modern convenience in the jungle, eh?
We are very primitive people. We want to learn. Your son has talked with me much and has taught me much good English, so I can talk to you now and understand well.
Haven't you been to England before, Mr. Smith?
No, madame. I come from up country many, many days. Once, a long time ago, I visited the coast. I've always wished to come to England. So one day I say I will go and see for myself. It's a long trek, but I am here. I've been in England only 2 days. I marvel at the things I see, but it is very cold.
William, switch on the other half of the fire, dear.
Now, and you have a fire. At my home, I have a large house, many cattle, big plantations. But you have so much more in your house.
Yes, yes, not a bad little place. Not exactly Buckingham Palace, but pretty fair, pretty fair. Good class district, you know. People around here all of the better class. On the stock exchange, a good many of them. Decent craft.
Your house must cost a great deal of money, I expect. I beg your pardon, that is not polite.
Oh, about a couple of £1,000 would buy it. Thinking of settling down over here, eh?
You'll please excuse my rudeness. You see, I'm very ignorant of English life, and there is so much I am puzzled by. Do all Englishmen own the houses in which they live?
No, no. Not all by any means. Most people of the better class do, of course. Great thing to own your own house. Englishman's home is his castle, eh?
Why does not every man own his own house? Because he has not enough money to buy it?
Yes, that's right. In which case he pays rent for it. So much a week or so much a month. The working classes pay rent, as a rule. Some of them would like to get out of paying if they could.
Working classes. That means the men who till the soil and the craftsmen who make things with their hands. They have homes like this to live in?
Well, not quite like this, perhaps. Still quite nice little places. I suppose you've noticed some small houses on your way up here. Very well planned, some of these estates built for working class people. Neat, orderly, nice little back garden. We do these things rather well, you know.
In this little country, there must be many, many working men. And all live in these houses. There must be a great number of these houses.
The housing problem is really difficult for people with small incomes. Rents are high in proportion to wages, and there just aren't enough houses to go round. Many working people can't afford to live in the cities, and travelling to and from their work costs a lot.
Oh, now, Elizabeth, you really can't say that you believe all that nonsense. Housing problems, high rents, all grossly exaggerated, in my opinion. Tens of thousands of houses have been put up during the past few years, yet we still hear a lot of chatter about housing problems.
That's probably because so many people still can't find suitable houses to live in here.
Ah, there's no doubt about it. Facts are facts.
You must admit, William, that the slums in our cities are pretty hard facts. Oh, I really think we should apologize to Mr. Smith. I'm sure he can't be interested in all our silly arguments.
I am very interested, madame, but you have spoken a word which I do not understand. What is slums?
Well, it's a trifle difficult to explain. Really kind of a slang expression. Kind of, slums. Slums are... How do you describe slums, Elizabeth?
I should describe slums as a blot on the name of civilization. Actually, the slums of a city are the poorest parts. Dirty, miserable places, usually very old houses which should be pulled down. The people who live in them are too poor to live anywhere else. As a rule, several families have to share one house. Oh, we're not very proud of our slums.
I think I know what you mean. From the railway train on my journey to London, I saw many houses which did not look very nice to live in. I thought this strange and wondered what sort of people would have to live so unpleasantly.
It must have appeared very strange to you.
Really, Elizabeth, I must say, I think you are apt to exaggerate these things. There always have been slums, as far as I know, and you know perfectly well the slum clearance schemes are doing away with these places, getting the people out into the new suburbs. Facts are facts, you know.
It's taking a long time for authorities to realize that these surroundings are responsible for ill health amongst many working people. No matter how they try, these people cannot fight disease without money.
But think of our public health services nowadays, the clinics and so on. Why, it's the finest organization in the world. People can have all these advantages without paying a penny.
Yes, dear, I agree. But no one can be healthy in bad surroundings and without the proper food. Malnutrition is bad enough in the case of grown-up people, but insufficient food is fatal to children. What happens when they grow up? What kind of citizens will they make? People who advocated these public health services had to fight hard for them. And even now, school feeding of children is only carried out in a few enlightened localities.
Pardon, madame. Do you mean that many people cannot buy enough food?
I expect you think this strange, Mr. Smith, but the cost of living is going up, and wages are not raised in proportion.
There you go again, Elizabeth, always harping on the cost of living. Of course prices go up and down. All markets fluctuate. Shares are up one day and down the next. But the prices of foodstuffs can't be raised to such an extent that some people are half-starved. Everyone has to practice economy sometimes.
A woman with a family can't practice much economy on a housekeeping allowance of about 20 shillings a week.
You exaggerate, Elizabeth. Food isn't as dear as all that. Everything is controlled. You can't get away from facts. Isn't it nearly dinner time yet, dear?
That's what comes of talking too much, you see. We forget the most important things. I'm afraid you must think us very rude and very boring people.
Madame, I am very grateful to you. I come to England to learn. Many, many years ago, we were savages. Now we come slowly into the light of understanding. We have a long journey before us. To me, all knowledge is treasure. I am glad I understand.
We're glad to have you. You'll stay to dinner, won't you?
That is very kind of you. Thank you.
I hope you don't dislike English cooking, but I'm sure you'll like my new idea for a soup.
I shan't like to go back to Africa. Buck steak, mealy meal, and sometimes, if I'm lucky, a tin of genuine Frankfurter sausages. That's the best I can hope for. I think it is a very wonderful thing, the many kinds of food you Englishmen can have. So many millions of people in this little island. The great herds of cattle you must have.
Haven't got room. Couldn't keep enough cattle. If we did, wouldn't pay. Import a lot. Lot of everything.
So, I've heard tales, strange tales, of coffee burned, of fish being thrown back in the sea. Yet you say people cannot get enough food?
Oh, well, that's easily understandable. All a question of distribution. Distribution costs money. Wouldn't pay.
Not pay? Surely, if fishermen catch fish, they can sell. Surely the government could distribute such food to those who need it.
No, not like that at all. Couldn't be done. Wouldn't pay the distribution. And a government that interfered with private trading wouldn't last long.
I understand.
I wish I understood that sort of thing. Surely distribution of surplus food could be arranged without a profit having to be made.
Oh, no, that's not business.
Well, I think everything wants reorganizing so that things are more evenly distributed.
The money market is the thing that matters. If a man invests capital, he's entitled to expect a good return for it.
And if a man invests his labor, he's entitled to a good return for it. But does he always get a good return for it?
The laborer is worthy of his hire.
Please, I cannot quite understand why one of my countrymen gets perhaps 3 shillings for a certain piece of work, while the same piece of work must pay a white man many times more. And yet, white men cannot live so well?
Oh, well, you see, there's a vast difference between the African and the Englishman. The whole thing can be summed up in 3 words. Cost of living.
I understand.
William, will you tell Annie to fetch the coffee?
Yes, my son sent them over some years ago. Not much good against a machine gun nowadays, eh?
No doubt, some ancient warrior followed the war drums with this before the days of peace.
Days of peace, eh? Not much peace in the world today. Ah, you can't stop wars. Man is a fighting animal.
I thought man was supposed to be a civilized being.
Men have always fought for the right. Centuries of tradition behind it.
Is it a matter of tradition to drop bombs on women and little children?
We know these things are all wrong, dear. Wars of aggression are wrong. But defense is all important. We must be well armed.
If defense means spending millions on armaments, while quite a lot of people haven't enough to eat, well, I think something should be done about it.
You don't understand, dear. We must be strong. And by Jove, we are strong. The Army, Navy, Air Force. I've got a few pictures that'll interest you. Here you are. These are some pictures of our ships. See those guns? That'll give you an idea of what we mean when we say Britannia rules the waves. See those? Capable of throwing a shell miles. Ah, great ships. And we are building more and more. Aircraft carriers, too. Aircraft will be most important next time.
You are preparing for war?
Good heavens, no. But there's nothing like being prepared for all comers. Future wars will largely depend on aircraft for attack. We can't build planes fast enough. The Army, too. The Army is being rapidly mechanized. Wonderful thing, modern science. Why, we have guns which could blow this house to pieces from about 14 miles distance.
It is indeed wonderful, but it is not war as we can understand it. Our people think of war as an equal contest, man to man, using weapons like those. The white man's weapons are terrible, implements for massacre, not fair fighting.
And all these death-dealing inventions must be paid for by the people who want peace.
Well, of course, Elizabeth, everyone wants peace. But to ensure peace, we must prepare for war. You see that, don't you, Smith?
A nation must protect its people, see that they have food, clothing, and enjoy life with good health. In old times, when our tribes went to war, we fought for the means of life, for food in times of famine, and for land when our people needed more room. The white man came, taught us to go to law instead of war. Forgive me if I do not seem to understand, but now it seems all nations have plentiful supplies. Why then do you have to defend yourselves with such terrible weapons? Does not the law which works for peace in our land also settle disputes in yours? There is still much I do not understand. But I must leave. I did not realize the hours have passed so quickly.
You come and see us again.
Thank you, madame. I will.
Yes, yes. By all means. Very interesting little chat. You must tell us some stories about your people. On the war trail, eh?
We are a very peaceful people, but I can tell you some stories.
Well, well. I hope we haven't bored you.
I am very grateful. You have taught me much. I am content.
Oh, good. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Careful of the steps. Goodbye. How extraordinary. Why didn't Derek tell us?
Now we're on speaking terms with a chieftain. That's something to boast about, isn't it?
I wonder what he really meant by that last remark. I am content.
Utopia. I wonder what that means.
You'd better go in and have your nightcap, dear. Oh, well, I must be getting old. Here, get my hat and coat for me, Duck, will you? That's Duck. My old man will be waiting for his supper. I think I'll take those straps. She'll only throw them away anyway. They're good enough for my old man. I'll make him a chicken fricassee. Not but what he wouldn't roll their fish and chips, and a pint or two. However, beggars can't be choosers. Oh, well, good night, Duck. Don't work too hard. And don't take no notice of him. Hello, Annie. The dinner was very nice tonight. I think you've done enough for one day. You leave those things to me.
And Mummy, you don't carry glasses away upstairs, look.
No, don't disturb the master, Annie. He has something to think about tonight.
Peace and plenty. Eh?